So in the last video, we focused on general table setup in the prone position. A couple of nuances that I think are going to be very helpful as we support sideline position. And I would really like, Luke and I both really use the sideline position a lot, and would really encourage many of you to become more proficient with the positioning and the draping.
We will reinforce time management ways in which to accomplish that. Most people just spend too long in prone. So in additional videos, we'll be able to offer better examples of that, but a very basic statement to this is that I spend less time on the arms and particularly the legs in the prone position, and I'm able to do that much more effectively, especially the legs and the feet in sideline. So it's a matter of just saving your time and your energy and positioning the client there. You'll find that it's actually better for the spine. It's easier for you as a therapist. It's more comfortable for the client. By and large, most of us sleep on our sides. We can manipulate the bolsters in such a way where they can reposition their body regardless of what their issue may be. If it's a joint related issue, a chronic pain related issue, a size issue, they can get more comfortable usually on their side. So that's my declaration of strongly consider using sideline. It's a good thing.
And I've done it for years and years and years and years and years, and adapted to some of the clients that were professional athletes.
And that's a big one, is we work a lot with professional athletes, so mostly in NBA and NFL, and these can be some big people with broad shoulders, and even that allows for much more comfort, and it makes it easier for me to access areas of the body that they need work done. You know, the legs, low back. It makes it easier for me, and if I'm more effective as a therapist, I'm doing better work for my clients, obviously, right?
Well, and from a female perspective,
you know,
it's much more comfortable breast-wise.
Yes.
And it's easier to avoid unintended contact in the sideline position. And I find it's better for the neck and the head.
Yes.
So we'll demonstrate that.
Exactly.
So a couple of modifications then in prone position would be a big bolster idea. Right. So most people use these rolls.
Yeah, the round ones that have a cover to them. They usually come with your table. So
many people do just fine if their feet come up off the edge of the table.
Yes.
All right. Especially if we're not focusing on using a face cradle. Or you can use a larger square bolster.
And we've done everything from have people find a really good old couch cushion that they then put a new cover on. What she and I have done, you can't see it very good here. This has a cover, we have a zipper on it, but this is just a square block of foam. You can buy this on Amazon, you can find it at an arts and crafts place, but it's 6 inches wide by a couple feet long, about that.
And this is a king size pillow cover.
And maybe additionally, I should say 6 inches thick, about 9 to 10 inches wide, and then about 2 feet long. So
this could be a plastic cover. You can get those as a king size, fits it really good.
And with it being firmer, what we're using this for is when we turn the client on their side, their top leg will be resting on this. This will help keep their hips and spine in a neutral position where they're not twisting, and it'll make it more comfortable for them. It creates a platform for this leg, and so that it allows the massage therapist to work on this top leg as well as the bottom leg and the rest of the body.
And they're stable.
Yes. The square, firmer foam keeps the client from feeling unstable, like they're about to slip, or also keeps it to where you as the therapist aren't trying to hold their body in position as you're trying to apply pressure to certain target groups.
So now we have to turn the client on their side.
Yes.
So don't you have a person that you can...
Person that we can bring into this. I've seen many people when they're manipulating the sheets so the client can turn, doing a tent that's just directly over top of the client. The issue there can be if the client catches the sheet, they can pull the sheet along with them and unintentionally expose themselves. So my suggestion is you as the therapist, so here's our therapist.
It doesn't have a uniform on.
No, we would have scrubs or some professional attire.
Okay.
But if they anchor the sheet against the table on the side that they're standing on, I just use my knee, push the sheet against the table so it can't move, and then I reaching across, and I will tent not directly over the top of the client, but closer to the opposing edge of the table. So what that allows is that this side is held down, this side I have held secure. I usually pull it a little bit taut. That way the client can turn in either direction, and I have one side of the sheet held secure as well as the other. So it doesn't matter which direction they turn, I have the sheet held in the correct position.
So you tent it, and I'll turn them.
Okay, so here we go, therapist. My hands are gonna represent that. It'll be easier. So here we go. I'm holding here, tenting here, and she's
please
the client.
turn towards me. Okay, now what are we gonna do?
Now we have to figure out the bolsters, right?
Yeah, let's take the drapes off so
Yes,
people
so
can
we
see that. All right. So, where does the one that was under the tummy go?
That would have been here. So optimally, we would have started here, and then they've turned on their side.
This arm usually goes that way.
Yes,
Right?
arm would be laying there. This is usually a more, yeah. So this one was already at the chest. This pillow easily moves up a little bit, or if the client moves down a touch, the pillow is already right there for them to rest their head. This pillow that was underneath the abdomen, if we could move this up a little bit, what is nice about this, and I asked the client, do they find it comfortable or not? I personally find it more comfortable to have the bolster here at my ribs because it creates a little divot for the shoulder. There's less pressure directly on the shoulder joint there. Then the next part would be moving this bottom bolster. And if you choose to use two, you could use the round one for prone and supine and the square one, the larger bolster for sideline. This one gets moved here to the front of their body, and the top leg is the one that, here we go.
Oh, no.
There we go.
Yeah.
So they bend, they flex at the hip and flex at the knee and position that right there. And voila. So this I know the pillow isn't wide enough here, so we can flip the whole thing around.
Let's turn it just a little bit. Hold them so they can see. Hold.
Yep.
There you go.
Yes.
See?
And you can just flip it around too. You could just,
Oh, that's a good idea.
yes. So then as we're showing more of this, you can see, and we'll get the sheets on there here in a second, but you can see how in this position, if this bolster is large enough and secure enough, they are able to get as comfortable as they need to, and I can still work effectively on the low back, and particularly the legs. This is going to allow for work on the posterior and medial part of the leg and the feet in particular, as well as even the neck and shoulders. So sidelining is a very, yes.
And the arms.
So everything. It turns into,
yeah.
And you know what? The interesting part is that this is sometimes only allocated to prenatal massage. And I would suggest that any training that you've had related to that and using sideline, you can use it for any and all clients. So, all right. Here's our sheets right here with our blanket.
Now, this is where the bottom sheet comes in handy.
Yes. So, as a quick example of that, we're just going to show some of the draping.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as a quick example of that, if I were draping to work on the hamstrings, so then I need to grab this top sheet and move it. And I've moved the blanket. So I move the blanket, and then I'm doing I'm going to use more of the bunch technique. I know some people use a tuck. We're going to use this idea of more like bunching the sheet, getting it positioned. Now, let's say I only want to I'm working on the hamstrings and adductors. And I don't want their feet to get cold. Here is that second flat sheet. I can just bring that over. Voila. Now, only this isolated area of tissue that I, the therapist, am working on has been undraped. So you can see how using just that second flat sheet can be used so many places.
Well, in addition, go ahead and redrape that. Sometimes the person is going to feel like there's exposure in the hip area.
Mm-hmm.
So if the sheet comes from this end,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, that too.
all right, and then the client can just bring their arm out,
Mm-hmm.
and there you go.
Yep, absolutely.
So there are tons of advantages with this. Now I want to show something on the front here. This is where there's one little trick that's very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And you take
that top sheet.
Yeah.
The sheet that the client
Yeah.
is laying over top of the client. Watch, it's very amazing.
And you can either come under the shoulder like
Yep.
that or over.
Usually over the shoulder is
Yeah.
going to be what works.
And you put it underneath the client's head.
You just tuck it between their head and the pillow. So here's the pillow sheet. So this is underneath the client's head. This gets tucked under here. And now you can see how that braces and creates a reinforced. Yeah. You can see how that creates a more secure draping across the chest line. So then the therapist can move the arm, work in the neck and shoulders without as much a concern of exposing the chest area.
And the head is holding that down there. And then the arm can, for the most part, holds it in place.
Yep.
And when you bring the arm up, you just hold it right there. And the breast tissue, if this were a female, has fallen forward anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to make sure that we, especially in the thorax, that we are addressing the sides because that's where we get all of our ribs and then also for the shoulder movement. Those muscles are oriented laterally. So that's the trick.
Yep.
Right through there.
And you can see just using these props, it works as a good lecture tool. As you can see, we don't care about stumbling over our words or messing up. It's a great example of just being able to show how do you work with your clients and showing that for your students. And then they can mock this up and follow along and then let them do it on their own as well. It's just a great way to just kind of get comfortable with the idea of bolsters, sheets, and working with a client, even if it's not a real person yet. So
now also there are video clips on the Evolve site that go with the textbook.
Yes.
That detail this very well.
Yes, that's right.
And also protocols in the textbook.
Mm-hmm.
And you may come up with even better ideas for the sideline position. But don't let draping and stumbling and the potential for bolstering. I'm going to tell you, this square bolster.
Oh, it's a game changer.
It is a total game changer for people being comfortable on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
So don't let it inhibit your ability to better serve your client and make it easier for you.
Absolutely. All right, on to the next one.